What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be learning 10 moves that superheroes use in movies. So these are moves that they use when they're chasing someone, running away, or maybe even fighting someone. So the first one is actually probably the most important one. It's called the shoulder roll. We use this on a lot of flips or even jumps to absorb the shock so it's not all in the knees and the ankles. So the first thing you want to do is start off on the ground. You're going to start off with one foot on the ground and one knee on the ground like this. I'm going to be doing a shoulder roll on my left shoulder. So I'm going to use my left arm and punch through my legs to shoulder roll like this. When you're comfortable with that, you can do it from your feet. So what's going to be different this time is I'm going to put both hands on the ground but still go on the shoulder like I just did. So slowly, it's going to go like this. Arms coming sideways, putting both hands on the ground, and then going over the shoulder. And then you're going to want to speed it up. When you're comfortable with that, you're going to want to do it from jumping. This is very important because when you're going to use the shoulder roll off of drops, you have to learn to do it as fast as you can as soon as you land. So we're going to be doing the same thing, but jump as high as you can, and as soon as your feet hit the ground, do the shoulder roll like you just did. So if you don't feel a lot of pressure in your legs, your knees, or your feet, then you're doing a good job because the main purpose in this is to remove the pressure from those parts. The next move is called a conch vault. You want to find yourself an obstacle that's not too tall like this one, and if you're shorter, then maybe you want to find one that's even smaller than this. So basically, we're going to run towards the obstacle, put both hands on, and then bring our feet through. As you run towards the obstacle, you kind of want to do a dive towards it so you can put your body weight and pressure on your arms so that you can push off of the obstacle and bring your feet through so that you can keep running on the other side. If you want to do this vault as smooth as possible, try jumping off one foot and landing on one foot to keep as much momentum as you can. The next move is also a parkour move. It's called the tic-tac. So basically, you're just going to put one foot on the wall and kick off of the wall. It's very useful when you're trying to reach something else. So sometimes there's another wall here, so you're using the tic-tac to get more height and then reach the other wall. So basically, you're going to run towards the wall at a 45-degree angle like this, and then as you're approaching, you're going to put your opposite foot down. So since I'm using my left foot on the wall, that means my opposite foot is my right foot. So I'm going to slightly jump off the right foot and then quickly put the left foot on the wall after. When you put your foot on the wall, make sure you do it at about hip height, because if you do it too high or too low, it'll be really hard to gain extra height off of the kick. This is also a really good place to practice your shoulder roll. If you want to do a tic-tac off the wall, and as soon as you land, go into a shoulder roll. The next move is called the dive roll. It's very similar to the shoulder roll, but you jump into it. You see it a lot in superhero movies like Spiderman, Captain America, and a bunch of other superheroes use it. So you're going to start off by doing the shoulder roll with a small jump. You're just going to start by crouching down like this and then slightly jump into the shoulder roll like this. When you get comfortable with that, you can do it by jumping higher or jumping further. The next one is the superhero landing.
Superhero landing. You're going to do a superhero landing. Wait for it.
Super useful if you want to land your trick by looking cool like a superhero. It's also very tricky to do without hurting your knee, so make sure you listen to the tips carefully. So the trick with this move is to absorb with both legs before the knee hits the ground. So if I do it very slowly, you can see that before my knee hits the ground, I'm still absorbing with this leg and not hitting the knee straight into the ground. So it's going to go like this, slowly absorbing, and then the knee slightly touches the ground. You don't want to feel any pressure on the knee. So when you speed it up, it looks a little like this. You can tell I'm still absorbing, but I'm still doing the superhero landing. If you want to add a little bit of style, you can put one hand on the ground like this, maybe make a fist, or you can put one hand behind like that, like Spider-Man does. So the next one is pretty much a long jump. So it's very useful when you're jumping from building to building, or you just want to jump to another obstacle. So it's very simple, but it takes a lot of practice to learn how to jump far. When you're learning, you don't want to jump as fast as you can because you might not be able to control your jump or control your landing. So start off at a medium speed and pick which leg you want to jump from first. This is very important because you'll probably have one dominant leg that's stronger than the other, and it'll get you more distance if you pick that leg. So for me, it's my left leg. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump off of this block and go as far as we can. I'm gonna start by running towards the obstacle, put my opposite foot before it, and then jump off of it like this. When you put your foot on the obstacle, you wanna have your knee bent, because that's what's going to engage your leg muscles to get as much height and distance as possible. So as you're putting your foot, you really want to push, straighten out your leg so you can jump as far as possible. So make sure you practice that every time and see if you can beat your own record by going as far as possible. If you start going really far on the jump, you want to make sure you use the shoulder roll again because you don't want to take all that impact in your legs, your knees, and your ankles. The next trick is called the speed vault, and it's super good when you're chasing someone or you're running away from someone. So it's basically a vault off of one hand. So before you start, you want to pick which hand you're going to go off of. I'm going to use my left hand. So since I'm using my left hand, I'm going to jump off my right foot and then kick my left foot over the obstacle. So you can start off slowly by doing a progression and just going like this. If that's too hard for you, then you can actually do it beside the obstacle while you're learning. So as I said, since I'm using my left arm, I'm gonna jump off my left foot, kick my right foot over, and then again, I'm gonna land on my left foot. It's very important that you land on one foot because if you don't, then you're losing speed. And if you're losing speed, then it's called the speed vault for nothing. So it's gonna look a little bit like this. The next move is called a wall run. Basically, you want to find yourself an angled wall because that's the easiest place to learn it on. It's very similar to the tic-tac, but instead we're going to take 2 steps on the wall. So with the tic-tac, I jumped off of my left foot on the wall. And this one I will too, but the right foot's going to come first. So I'm still going to run towards the wall at a 45-degree angle, but instead I'm going to put one foot on about this height, and then the second one I'm going to try to aim for chest height. With practice, you'll be able to put even more steps on the wall, or you can get even higher or further. The next trick is called a round kick, which is super useful if you're fighting someone. So the first thing you want to do is pick which leg you want to kick. For me, it's going to be my right leg, so that's the same leg I'm going to jump off of. So you're going to jump off your leg, and when you're in the air, you're going to bend your knee. So we call this chambering, and you do this before the kick. So you're gonna bend your knee so that when you kick, you have more force and it's more exaggerated. So you're gonna be in the air with your knee bent, your leg chambered, and you're gonna try to kick and straighten it as fast as you can in front of you to kick a target. So just pick one point in front of you that you wanna kick during the round kick. The next move is a roll over an obstacle. Black Widow uses it in Civil War. And it's also a very good progression towards a side flip. Basically what we're gonna do is a side flip, but I'm gonna use the obstacle as support as I'm rolling over it. So you're gonna run towards the obstacle, then you're gonna jump with both feet at an angle like this, and then you're gonna go over your back on the obstacle to roll over and then get back on your feet. So you can see that it's almost the exact same motion as a side flip. So when you're learning a side flip, this is the best progression because when you want to learn it, you can just remove the blocks and you've pretty much done a side flip. So that's 10 superhero moves that anyone can learn. If you want to learn some other cool stuff, make sure you comment down below what you want to learn. If you want to see my latest video, click here. If you want to see another superhero video, click here. Make sure to subscribe, and as usual guys, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.